here. Yes, and thank you to the people who are here in person. We got butts and seats.
Mm-hmm.
You know I love butts and seats.
Mm.
All right, I'm Drew. It's Wednesday. It's 7 p.m. It's time for our Wednesday weekly workshop with yours truly. You get to ask Drew anything. This is the 94th episode of this. The way that these go, especially if this is your first time here, you should know this. We take questions about health. I'm Drew. I'm the owner here at 3D Wellness. I have about 16 years worth of clinical experience working on cases where we safely and naturally support people in healing their body from all sorts of different problems. I want to share all the info that I have with the world, and these live streams are a really great opportunity for me to do it. So on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, you can chat in your questions on Instagram or on YouTube, or if you're here in person, you can ask them. If you're not comfortable chatting in questions on Instagram or YouTube, you can always call us. Our number's right up here, and we'll answer the phone. We'll take your question. We want to share all the info that we have with the entire world, and this is one way that we do it. We stay here as long as there are questions coming in, so start typing those questions, and I'll start answering. Now, Lori, you already printed off one question that was emailed in.
I did.
We'll go over that.
Sure.
I also really like to go over this week in clinic. Some of the stuff that we worked on. This gives people a chance to type in those questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we had a client who typically, whenever there was some kind of sinus congestion, that it almost always went to the ears, started to clog those up. And they've been on a program with us very consistently for about 4 months. And this time, they still got some sinus congestion, but it did not go to their ears. So they were thrilled about that, to not have to deal with that. We're starting to see the onset for a couple of people dealing with some different allergies, especially our clients who are out of state. Hello to the Southeast. We're having a lot of success working with different things to fight allergies like Antranex. Then there's a product that we also carry. It's not a standard process product. It's called Aller Caps. And for some clients, because this is a very different ingredient list than things like Antranex or Allerplex that we have used, it's kind of revitalizing their body's response to the things that cause allergies. If you ever have questions about allergies or what causes them, we do have a handout dedicated to that. So please feel free to reach out to us. We have that handout. We're really going over the basics of what are allergies, why are allergies, how do we help address them. Okay. A lot of people with better bowel movements going on this week. That was a theme. And then I'm going to write this. Lori, if I write tissues on the board, what is your guess as to what I'm talking about?
Oh, if it's health related, I'm thinking like skin or the lining of things.
Sure.
Right? Tissue.
Yeah. Well, what if I told you it was tissues as in Kleenex?
You mean the brand name?
Yeah.
Yeah, then okay, that's totally different.
A lot of people crying this week.
Oh.
A lot of tears in the office this week. And I was not poking people in the eyes. Okay. No Three Stooges action. There's like a certain degree of uncomfortable intensity in a lot of people's lives right now. So I'm glad that we're here to offer things like Mintran, mineral tranquility, to help these people get through tough times. That's the heavy hitters for this week.
Wait.
Oh, what do you got for me?
Well, I want to just cover my butt here. Go.
Cool. All right, so now I want to jump into this question that came in. All right. It says, hi, I was just wondering if Drew could possibly cover a little more in Dowry about how the supplements Cataplex E2 and Cataplex B are helpful in the Ask Drew Anything series. Oh, it's a series. I like calling it a series. Thank you all for everything. Sincerely, Peyton. Peyton, thanks for emailing this in. Let's talk about both of them. So I'm going to talk about Cataplex E2 first. Both of these are supplements by standard process. Cataplex E2 as in the number 2. And the gist of it is Cataplex E2 is a vitamin E supplement. That is way oversimplifying it though. When we look at vitamin E, we are often told that there are 8 different components to it. If you've ever picked up vitamin E inside of like a Walgreens, if you had really dry skin or a lot of weightlifters have calluses on their hands, you'll be encouraged to buy vitamin E oil and burst open the soft gel and massage it into your calluses. Okay? Some people take it for heart health. If you've bought it for those reasons, you've probably seen the word tocopherol before. And we are often told that there are 8 tocopherols, and that's all you need to get everything that is vitamin E. That is incorrect. It is much more accurate to look at vitamin E like 3 distinctly different groups of nutrients. Okay? So there is a Cataplex E2 to grab that second group of nutrients. You better believe that there is a Cataplex E. They don't call it Cataplex E1, they just call it Cataplex E. And then there is a product that combines pepsin and E3. So what Standard Process did was they knew that vitamin E was this very complex thing and that a single vitamin E supplement would not serve the 24 different nutrients that actually make up what vitamin E is. So they made these different products. Cataplex E2 has a vasorelaxing effect on the body. So what does that mean? If you think about your blood vessels, if you're looking down a tube and you relax them, if you vasorelax, if you relax blood vessels, they open up a little bit. Okay. That does a couple of things for us when they open up. Little arrows outward here. So we're obviously going to see that blood pressure is going to go down when we have that vasorelaxing effect. We're also going to see that cramps, vascular cramps, which for the most part are what you're experiencing if you get feet or calf cramps in the nighttime. I'm pretty sure it is vascular cramps, not just muscle cramps. So if you're dealing with foot and calf cramps, especially in the evening, I'm going to encourage you to consider Cataplex E2 to help that. It's really good for helping that. And last but not least, the other big thing that this fraction of vitamin E does for us is it helps us handle altitude. These specific nutrients, the group of vitamin E that's in Cataplex E2, helps our body to be as efficient as possible with oxygen in our bloodstream. So when we go to altitude, the air is thinner, there's less oxygen. A lot of people can get altitude sickness, feel run down, feel dizzy, feel nauseous, kind of lousy. These nutrients help your body adjust much more quickly to being at altitude. Man, it's easy to use. So like clients will come in and say, oh, Drew, I'm going to Vail, Colorado to go skiing in 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So we're going to jump you on this in 2 weeks. They're like, I only need a week lead time. I'm like, yep, this stuff kicks in really fast. And then take it the whole time you're there. And I can't tell you how many times a client comes back and says, well, we went with a group of friends. And some of the friends took the Cataplex E that I offered them because I bought the big bottle and enough to share with everyone after you told me all this, Drew. And not everybody wanted to take it. And those people stayed in the lodge way more because they felt lousy the first 2 days we were on the trip. So it's really easy to take Cataplex E2. It is a vitamin E containing supplement. It has a vasorelaxing effect, which means it can help lower blood pressure and deal with cramps. It's also really good if you're going to go to altitude to help your body with oxygenating your blood. That's Cataplex E2. Did you know all that, Two Boots?
I learned a lot already.
Okay, cool. Off and running.
I really like Cataplex E2 for those Charlie horses I get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Occasionally. Not all the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Good to have it there. So you're
It's
like,
good
oh,
to have on hand.
I can do something about this.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's talk Cataplex B. All right, as you may be guessing already, if Cataplex E2 is about vitamin E, then Cataplex B is going to be B vitamins, right? Now again, Dr. Royal Lee, the gentleman who started Standard Process, was way ahead of his time, and he knew there are 22 different B vitamins. They have some contradictory effects to one another. They don't all do the same thing. Your body doesn't like all of them at the same time necessarily. Remind me to talk about most store-bought B complexes at the end of this. Thank you. All right, well, let's talk about this. So 22 B vitamins. Okay. Some are exciting. And then some are calming. All right, so for example, if I say vitamin B12, a lot of you watching this are going to go like, yeah, that's energy, right? It's in every energy drink in the world. People get it checked, and if their level is low, like, oh, that's the reason for your fatigue. You got low B12, okay? The flip of that, some people have trouble winding down at the end of the night. Some people tend to be anxious about things, right? They are often recommended vitamin B6. So why on earth would we take an exciting thing when we're trying to calm the body? We wouldn't want to do that. Now, that's not to say that a person couldn't need B6 and B12. We would just want to make sure that we're separating those things, okay? So Cataplex B is all the exciting. It's really good for energy. There's a couple of different versions of it, so we'd want to get specific with you, like one-on-one, to figure out which version of Cataplex B is best for you. But all the versions, what they have in common is that they're very exciting to the body. Okay. So what I like to say is Cataplex B with breakfast. Then there's a product from Standard Process that's called Cataplex B2. Do you see this naming thing Standard Process does? Right? There was Cataplex E and Cataplex E2. There's Cataplex B and Cataplex B2. They're both B vitamin blends, but Cataplex B2 is all the calming stuff. It's heavier on things like B6. It's the soothing one. So Cataplex B2 is to go to sleep. Most people need all 22 B vitamins, but it's a bad idea to take all 22 at one time. So what's easier to do is you take the exciting ones earlier in the day when you need the energy and excitement, and the calming ones later in the day, like with supper, to wind you down at the end of the day. Okay? So that's Cataplex B, get you up and going. Now, separate from all of that stuff, most B complexes lack diversity.
Forgot the S.
What?
Diversity, S.
Oh, thank you.
Yep,
Oh, hello.
That's my job.
That's why we pay the big bucks, folks. It's one of the reasons. Most B complexes lack diversity. I'll give you an example. A lot of store-bought B complexes will give you 6 to 10 different B vitamins. So that doesn't mean all of them, not even close. And will give you huge amounts of each of those B vitamins. And that's when you see on a label that you're getting 10,000% of your recommended daily allowance. It's not that those numbers, those recommended daily allowances or RDAs are perfect, but I think we can all agree that if something's at 10,000%, it's probably outside of the optimal range, okay? So they don't give you all the B vitamins. They try to make up for it by giving you huge amounts of certain B vitamins. And very often, we will see that those store-bought complexes are exciting and calming in huge amounts at the same time. And it's not the way to do it. It's Cataplex B. It's a good question. I want to figure out how we know Peyton, or how Peyton knows us.
Yeah.
And then, Lori, would you also please put down a note that when clients go on Cataplex B or E2, that the date today, they can watch the live stream, and right at the start of it, there's info for them. Thank you. I'm going to grab my drink, and then we'll see what questions are coming in.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we've got a question from our client Rob, I believe, from the name here. It says, "Hello, Drew. Can you tell us about Ligaplex by standard process, and are all the ingredients all natural?"
Oh, wonderful question. Would you please grab me Liga 1 and Liga 2?
Sure will.
All right, so we're going to talk about Ligaplex by standard process. There is a Ligaplex 1 and there is a Ligaplex 2. And all of a sudden, I feel like everything we're talking about tonight is numeric. Cataplex E2, Cataplex B versus B2. All right. So there's Ligaplex 1, and then there's Ligaplex 2. We'll talk about the differences, and I wanted to see the ingredient list in here, because, yeah, that's what I thought. Let's go.
He just said, "I'm thinking about taking Ligaplex for my knee."
Yeah.
We can incorporate that, too.
Totally. Thank you for saying something. All right. So Ligaplex 1 by standard process. It is 4 different supplements from standard process, all mixed into one. It gives you Cataplex ACP, gives you Cataplex E, gives you manganese B12, and it gives you ostrophin, PMG. The idea with Ligaplex 1 was it was for acute needs. You go play basketball with your friends, you roll your ankle a little bit, it doesn't feel right, you want to do something to fight back against it. Cool. Ligaplex 1 is the way to go. Oh man, I haven't gone hiking in like a whole year, but all my friends are going hiking. I want to go hiking with them, but I know my joints are going to be sore afterwards. Cool. Ligaplex 1 before, during, and after the hike to kind of ease all that. There's quite a bit of anti-inflammatory action. Inside of Ligaplex 1. Ligaplex 2. This one is like 7 supplements in one. Which is super convenient that you don't have to take that. All right, so it is like taking Catalin, their multivitamin. It is like taking lactic acid yeast, which is a probiotic. All right, I can do this. Give me a second. It's got cardiotrophin PMG in it. It's got the manganese inside of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man. Catalin, lactic acid yeast, cardiotrophin, manganese B12. No, it escapes me.
Thank you. Trying to.
And this doesn't have them listed, but
No.
I'll read it and figure it out.
Okay.
Nutritional yeast, the liver. Are you grabbing the book too,
I am.
You're my hero. Yeah, we'll grab the book. I can see the list on the page. Just can't see the words. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How did I do so far?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cardiotrophin, ostrophin. Oh,
Back to school, Drew.
yep. And then super EFF. All right, cool.
Okay.
Thank you, Lori. The idea with Ligaplex 2, this is the maintenance product. So this has less anti-inflammatory action, and this has more building and maintaining action. It's really common once people hit about 35, 40 years old, they want to go on Ligaplex 2. They might only take 1 or 2 of them a day. I'm on board with that plan. Part of what's so nice about that is you're getting all these different supplements without having to actually buy all those different supplements. Really good for helping you just keep what you got so that your joints don't break down as quickly. You want to keep all those soft parts of your spine in a good way, all of that stuff. It's really common that after somebody gets hurt, they use Ligaplex 1 because it is so anti-inflammatory. And then once that joint is feeling better, we know that how something feels and whether or not it's done healing can be two very different things. So it'll be feeling better, and then to establish a new, more ideal normal, we'll move over to Ligaplex 2 to really solidify what's going on with the joint.
May I interject? Yeah, you're missing. Here you go.
Read your mind.
Very good.
Good. Rob, does that answer your question? I could hear your thoughts, Lori.
Yeah, you said 7 steps and I see 6. What's missing? You got it, though. Do you have any questions?
All right, other questions rolling in.
No questions rolling in.
Okay. Usually good for a question or two, Lori.
Well, yeah, I know. You want to see what I have today?
Sure.
Okay. There is a beverage on the market that apparently came out in 2019, but I'm just hearing about it now.
Okay.
Have you heard of Liquid Death?
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't necessarily about liquid death as much as what they're promoting, and I have a question about that part of it.
Sure.
So their big thing is they've put the death to the plastic and are serving this beverage in a can.
In cans.
Okay.
Yep.
So they're very proud of themselves for doing that, and I get it. It's great for the environment, but from a health standpoint, which is better or less toxic to drink from? Is it the aluminum cans or plastic bottles?
Yeah, very good thing to go over.
Those are our only 2 choices. We all know that glass and stainless steel are better.
Well, that's I'll talk about something in just a second. So
Okay.
aluminum versus plastic.
Yeah.
So neither one of these is really ideal.
Correct.
Okay. But we're going to do like a versus kind of thing.
Sure, great.
But real quick, I do want to say, I want to touch on what Lori was just saying. Glass and stainless steel are totally the way to go. I would love to see a future where there are less bottles of water being sold and more places with highly purified water pumps that you put your personal glass or stainless steel bottle on and it fills it, and then you're charged based on the fill instead of buying bottles. Does that make sense?
I love that.
I love the idea of putting money into purifying water instead of making containers to hold water.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Okay, let's talk about this stuff. So aluminum, really toxic to the nervous system. So we have major concerns about brain health when we see the aluminum level is going up. And it tends to compete with calcium inside of the body. And that's calcium is such a huge player in the body. It's we have of all the minerals that are in our body, calcium is by far the dominant in terms of quantity because of our bones, our skeleton, our teeth. Okay. So aluminum has a bunch of problems. Mess with your nervous system, mess with your brain health, competes with calcium. Okay. Plastic, unfortunately, makes its way everywhere in the body. Plastic doesn't care where it goes. It doesn't have a propensity. It doesn't have a preference, a favorite place to go. There's a study out of UK that I referenced in a video a few years ago where they found plastic in the bottom of people's lungs when they were doing autopsies. They're finding at different fertility centers that semen samples have plastic inside of them, and they're collecting the semen samples without a plastic cup. So it's not just that the cup that the sample was going into had plastic, it was in the sample itself. They're starting to find it in brain tissue because they're actually looking for it in brain tissue. So it goes everywhere. What it tends to do a great job of is messing with hormones. It's really effective at disrupting the way our body produces and responds to hormones. And it doesn't compete. That's a problem. Go ahead, ask.
Doesn't compete with what?
Anything.
Oh.
And that's the problem.
Why is that the problem?
Because at least with aluminum, we know what it's most likely to try to mess with.
Oh.
With plastic, it's like, I'm not even going to bother you. You're hardly even going to notice I'm here until things go wrong. That's that huge difference. With aluminum, we will see dental health issues. We'll hear about bone health issues. We'll see nervous system symptoms. We'll have memory issues. We'll have concentration issues. We'll have irritability issues. I'm thinking of Jake. This gentleman had the second highest aluminum I've ever seen in my career. It was astronomical. And the reason he came to me was uncontrollable irritability. He's a really nice guy. He's a good human. But the aluminum level that he had was promoting irritability in his body. It interferes with our neurotransmitters in our brain, our feel-good stuff. So we don't feel as good as we could, and then things are more irksome or bothersome. Okay? We can look for all of that and then go, oh, it's probably aluminum because it's messing with those specific things. When it comes to plastic, lots of stuff messes with hormones. It can affect any part of the body, not just the nervous system, not just the skeletal structure. So I have bigger concerns about plastic than I do aluminum.
Okay.
I'm going to reiterate what I said at the start. Let's look at getting purified water stations around the world, and people can get used to carrying a stainless steel or glass bottle with them. And my wife for a long time had a really nice glass water bottle. I think it was like $9 at Target, and it had a rubber sleeve that went over it because it's glass. So you could take it and drop it and it wouldn't break because there was that really nice rubber sleeve on it. So when people are like, no, glass breaks too easily, you get a nice solid piece of glass, you put some kind of protective measure around it, you're good to go.
Yeah. Plus it probably serves as a nice insulator in summer.
Oh, there you go.
Drinking something cold.
Multiple purpose.
All right, thank you for that clarification.
And we've helped clients in the past remove both aluminum and plastic from their body.
Arshmidi has a question about this, and then I'll hit Rob up with another follow-up question.
Cool, and let's put Kathy in the queue also.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Arshmidi wants to know about, is there any way to cleanse plastic out of the system, or microplastics, I should say, he said.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to write microplastic. Well, I'm going to write plastic because there's plastics. All right, we want to get out, okay? favorite supplement combo to handle this. And I developed this supplement combo because I was working on a number of fertility cases, and these young women were coming in and they had IUDs, and they were plastic containers because they were hormonal IUDs. And a bunch of them started to come in with similar symptoms. Plastics kept coming up. So, parotid PMG. And sorry, you don't have to have a uterus for this combo to work. I should specify that. Parotid PMG. What this wonderful little supplement does for us when it comes to chemicals like plastic. Plastic tends to cling to tissues in your body, and parotid comes through and detaches that stuff from your body. It's really important. But now it's going to be freely circulating. We want to grab it with our dear friend Spanish black radish. That's going to help us take a lot of that stuff out. And then outside of the standard process family of supplements, there's a supplement I use for this called Vi-Rad Chem Binder. That chem part is especially important. This binder will help make plastics that have been detached from your tissues innocuous, or so that they can't hurt you, by binding them up even before they are removed from your system. So we've detached them from our body. Now they have the potential to just float around and bother some other part of your body, unless we use a binder like this one, seal them up so they can't get reabsorbed, and then that mess gets carried out of your body by the Spanish black radish. I'm always going to recommend someone be on a mineral balancing program using hair tissue mineral analysis while we do this. These are the three that I use to help people get plastics out of their body. Good question, Shrini.
All right, getting back to Rob's question, then going back to the conversation about Ligaplex. What would you recommend to rebuild cartilage?
Ooh, let's do it. All right, cartilage. I would use a product. What's it called now? They just changed the name. C Synergy. Calcifood. And Ligaplex 2. Here's where I'm going with this. Calcifood is basically whole food collagen. So because it's whole food, that actually means that it's whole food collagens. There are a bunch of different types of collagen that exist within Calcifood. So it's going to hit joint rebuilding from a variety of angles compared to our go-to collagen, which is still really good for your joints, don't get me wrong, but it's coming at it from one angle. This is coming at it from multiple different angles. And then the C Synergy, this actually promotes the synthesis or creation of collagen. So when you take this, your body is looking to build some collagen. When you take this, your body is getting the raw materials to do that. When you take Ligaplex 2, you're filling in all the little gaps around the edge to make sure everything to do this is there. You have all the nutrients to actually do it. That's the combo I would do. For most people, it's 3 to 6 of the C Synergy. Calcifood is usually 2 to 4 a day. Ligaplex 2 is usually 2 to 4 a day. I would encourage people to start aggressively. Take the big doses for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then start to back off. But like go in there guns blazing and start to rebuild some cartilage. Good question.
Yeah. And I do not have another question rolling in at the moment. Kathy, did you have a question?
Well, any tips for my friends who cannot sleep?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Do they have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep or both?
Both. Multiple people, different issues.
All of it? So we'll talk about all of it. So the question, in case you didn't hear it out there in internet land, sleep. Multiple friends having trouble, whether it's falling asleep or staying asleep. What can we recommend? Let's go into it. Hey, Lori, what color haven't I used tonight?
Oof.
Green?
Okay. Oh, I don't like green anymore
Oh!
because it's so fadey.
Been storing it upside down. I hope that helps. I'm just going to go with black.
All right.
It shows up quite well.
Yes.
All right. Topic of sleep. Okay. So let's talk about falling. Okay. If it is your body that is restless, you don't feel like your body can like really wind down. It's the end of the day, you're laying in bed, you brushed your teeth, you used the toilet, but your body is still wound up about something, okay? We're going to go over to our good friend Mintran. Mintran is non-habit forming. It literally stands for mineral tranquilizer. I like to say mineral tranquility. It is a physical relaxant. It is a calmative. It's something that we use a lot with young kiddos and people of every age and walk of life, because if their body needs to unwind, Mintran is my absolute go-to. It's incredibly well tolerated. A little bit goes a long way, but if you're really wound tight, you can take a lot of it without any ill effect. For most people, falling asleep using Mintran, I'm going to say 3 at supper. And then you can also do 3 at bed. And that is a wonderful combo. That will really help the body just kind of like release. Okay. If it is the mind, that is all wound up. We're going to look at Orchex. Orchex is another supplement from Standard Process that is very different than Mintran. These are a lot of the calming, soothing, tranquility-inspiring nutrients for our mind. Okay. Racing thoughts. Am I going to get this done tomorrow? I have to remember to do this tomorrow. All of those kind of things. We're going to look to Orchex to help soothe that. The way it does that is by actually helping the efficiency of the part of your brain that worries. Now, at first, that might sound like a bad idea, okay? But if the part of your brain that worries is more efficient, it'll spend less time worrying. That makes sense? Has the same number of tasks either way. We might as well get through the tasks more quickly. People trying to fall asleep better, 2 at supper, 2 at bed. I got to tell you, with Orchex, what usually happens is people like how calming it is to their mind. So they come back and they ask, like, hey, is that Orchex safe to take during the day if I want to calm my mind? Yes. Go for it. You'll love it. Now we're going to talk about...
Just a quick question on that. Isn't that a supplement that's good for performance anxiety too? Like if, or
sure.
say in college and you have an exam coming up, doesn't it help kind of...
Absolutely.
Serve that?
If you have to give a presentation somewhere, whether it's school or an employer, one client, sweet guy, had to go to court. And he was like, I'm freaking out. It's like, yeah, we're going to need some more checks. Take that edge off for you, buddy. Anything where you just know a slower mind is going to do you better. A calm mind is going to do you better. I take it before I go to the airport. I love it before I go to the airport. I fly really well. I've flown a lot in my life, relatively. The process of flying doesn't mess me up. I am always in nutritionist mode, and you go to an airport and you see hundreds or thousands of strangers, and I see all these things going on with them, and I want to sit down and consult every one of them. And then I start thinking about, like, well, gee, would that be more of a Ligaplex 1 or a Ligaplex 2 kind of a thing? And then I got to get to the terminal. I got to catch my flight. Orchex before I go to the airport. Helps me a bunch.
There you go.
Yeah, any time of day. It's not habit forming. It's not going to make you drowsy. Yeah. All right, now staying asleep is a very different thing. Something that can happen to people is that they will have a blood sugar issue, and their body will be like, hey, we've gone too long without fuel. I can't do this. That is where we look at a supplement that is called ProtaFood. Really good for helping stabilize blood sugar. This is one of those that we're going to use it more during the daytime so that our body is primed for what we need it to do during the nighttime. So we're going to do 2 at breakfast. We're going to do 2 at dinner. That does quite a bit to support a healthy, stable blood sugar so that you're less likely to have that happen. Second thing that can happen that can mess with you is going to be a cortisol surge or stress hormone surge. If you've ever had it where you wake up during the night and you are so alert and awake that it is impossible to fall back asleep, it is very likely that you're having one of these cortisol surges. Blood sugar wakes you up and you feel like you need a snack or you feel like your tummy aches, no big deal. Cortisol is I'm wide awake, too bad it's 2:30 in the morning and I don't have to wake up for another 4 hours usually, but there is no falling back asleep happening right now. If we want to counteract that, we're going to use something that is called ashwagandha forte.
Oh, I can attest to this one.
Oh, cool.
Ever since I started that, it's been helping a lot.
Yeah,
with
right
that
on. And
particular issue.
Do you take one of them at bed?
I take 2 at bedtime.
At bed, okay, good.
Yeah.
That's a really important part.
Mm-hmm.
You can take this during the day if you have cortisol issues during the day. What are cortisol issues during the day like? You get really revved up and then you have a crash with your energy without stimulants.
Mm-hmm.
So what I encourage people to do is 1 to 2 at supper and bed. That's for that person who wakes up and they are wide awake when they wake up. Yeah. Now, I'm realizing as I'm writing all this out, first of all, I really like this combo. Just admiring my own combo. Never mind that part. It is 100% safe for these supplements to be mixed together, barring the person having any kind of reason that they can't take one of these. There's no overlap. They support the body in very different ways. I could see somebody taking all of these if their mind is racing and their body is uncomfortable and that messes with them when they're trying to fall asleep. And on top of that, they wake up during the night and they're hungry and their tummy hurts and they're wide awake.
Mm-hmm.
You have a new supplement program, if that's you. Here it is. There you go. Good question. Did that answer your question?
Yeah,
right on.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe I will. Which of these? So I have that at home because I'm on it. I have that at home because you never know when you'll need it. I have that at home because my wife is on it. Maybe I should bring home some proto food for myself.
Okay.
All right, Lori, other questions that are rolling in?
I don't see any other questions rolling in, and I'm at the end of my notepad here, so.
Okay. We'll give everybody another minute or 2 to ask questions. We only stay here as long as there are questions rolling in.
Uh-huh.
What do we do? So we did Cataplex E2, Cataplex B, Ligaplex 1 and 2. We covered a bunch tonight.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, you wonderful humans. Thank you for watching, whether it's live and you're asking questions. We especially appreciate that. Or after the fact, when you see it posted on our Instagram or our YouTube, you can plan on seeing us next Wednesday. There's no extra workshop this week, right?
Correct.
Number 95 next time. Oh. And we're one of the things I think we're going over tonight. What are we doing for our 100th?
Yeah, we're going to figure out
Some kind of celebration.
something to celebrate our 100th
right?
Recording.
Yeah.
And then next Wednesday is going to be our announcement of the Spanish Black Radish
Oh,
tablet
that's
guest.
right.
There's,
Okay, so there's how many days left in the month? 5?
yeah, 6.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Geez, we're only in here, though, for 2 of those days. I'll be in tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Monday yet, right? The
Okay.
31st.
Whew. Get those guesses and you can win yourself some free Spanish black radish.
Yeah.
Stay well until we see you again.
Yeah.